What's up, guys? Jordan from Condo here. Condo prices in Toronto have taken a bath with the recent rate increases. That is not a secret, but what I wanted to talk about today was the fact that in the downtown Toronto core, prices are still lower than they were in 2020. So here is a quick example here. This particular unit at 251 Jarvis, also known as Dundas Square Gardens. God, I hate that building. I probably shouldn't say that. I strongly dislike everything about that building. Good location though. This guy right at Dundas and Jarvis, it sold for $555,000, okay, last week, but it also sold in February of last year, so roughly 12 months ago, for $660,000. So that's a $105,000 difference in price, $105,000 loss on this particular unit. Now, granted, most units in better buildings are faring far better than that, and generally speaking, the Toronto condo market is faring better than the suburbia sort of freehold market in terms of price losses as a result of rate increases. So let's talk about that. So I quickly want to show you this chart here for median sales price for condos in Co1. If you're not familiar, I'll throw up a map. That's the downtown core of Toronto versus condos in W06. W06 is also known as Mimico or Humber Bay. What's really interesting is before the pandemic, you can see that it was far cheaper to buy a condo in W06 in Humber Bay. About 25% cheaper versus the downtown core. Now today you can see that because of the pandemic, they are almost the exact same price. Now when we remove Humber Bay from the equation, you look at the peak selling price for a Toronto downtown condo, you're looking at $745,000 in February of 2020, which is just before the pandemic ruined all of our lives. Now if we fast forward to last month, March, you'll see that the median sales price was $726,000. So the market's flat. Right? We haven't actually seen any appreciation. You see the dip through COVID. People bought some good deals down here. The market headed back up, and then of course you had the rate hikes, and so prices kind of trended down. Now they're headed back up again, which is nice to see. But what's really interesting to me is when you really look at it, essentially for 3 years we've seen zero price growth in the downtown condo market. So how is the condo market faring today? Well, just like everything in the last month, it's had an uptick in activity. So if you look at months of inventory, it's a distillation of are we in a seller's or buyer's market? Anything below 3 months of inventory means you are in a seller's market. And you can see here that the condo market in the 416 in Toronto proper is well within seller's market territory. Now, so is the freehold market. But the difference between the two markets is that the freehold market is seeing almost no listings, almost no inventory, whereas the condo market is seeing quite strong inventory. So if you look at the condo inventory, we're sort of the dark yellow line. I really hope you're not colorblind watching my videos because it'll be challenging to follow along. The dark yellow line is the current number of condo listings in the 416 in Toronto. So you can see that not only are we in a seller's market in the 416 condo market, but also we have more inventory than usual. That speaks to the amount of buyers there are out there looking for condos in the 416. And right now, there's a lot of them looking. You can see this further illustrated by this chart here from Robert. Give him a follow on Twitter. So this chart just shows the sales velocity. So the number of sales in any given market. The blue line is the Toronto condo market. So you can see that in terms of actual transactions that are happening, we're already pretty much back to spring of last year. So like I said earlier in the video, and like I've said on many other videos on this channel, and by the way, if you haven't subscribed, please do, okay? I'm currently in a race to 10,000 subscribers against my arch nemesis, Tom Story, so please sub and like. But basically, through COVID, from work from home, lockdowns, obviously the downtown condo market, it tanked, right? There was no net benefit to being in the core versus being elsewhere. You could get more square footage for elsewhere a lot cheaper. And so that's the way people moved. So condos in the 416 took a hit, while some other areas actually did quite well through the pandemic. Humber Bay is one example. But when you move even further to the suburbs, you get far better results. So if we look at February of 2020, sort of our pre-COVID peak, to March, so last month, you can see the change in condo prices across a couple different regions here. So in Mississauga, up 12%, in Brampton, up 28%, Durham up 28%, Vaughan up 13.53. Now, if we look at CO1 condos, so the downtown core, we're down almost 4%. If you look at CO8, again, 2020 versus 2023, you're looking at flat, right? So no change in pricing. And then when you look at W06, so Humber Bay, the Mimico area down here, you can see that it's up 15.76%. And then C15, which is up here, sort of your Bayview Village condo area, you're seeing that they're up 16.4%. Now, what's more interesting to me than the change in price is actually looking at those prices in line with the downtown core. Because you can see here on this chart that the median condo in Humber Bay will now run you $705,000. $5,000. While the median condo downtown will cost you the exact same amount of money. So there's no longer a discount to living in Humber Bay versus living in downtown. So I went ahead and charted out the per square foot selling data for one bedroom condos in Bayview Village, in Humber Bay, and in downtown, because I wanted to show this, illustrate this, sort of the pre-COVID normal market to where we are today. So if you look at this chart, you can see that in 2018 and in 2019, you got a significant discount for buying in neighborhoods outside of the core. So downtown traded at a 29% premium to Bayview Village and a 23% premium to Humber Bay. Today, downtown is only at a 7% premium to Bayview and a 5% premium to Humber Bay. This is really interesting to me because it begs the question, is this the new normal where condos are priced pretty much the same all around the city, or are we seeing a little bit more dislocation in markets? And is this something that's going to correct over time? Personally, I think it's going to correct over time. The 416 condo market's doing incredibly well. When you look at CO1, it is starting to rebound. And more importantly, the net benefit of living downtown is starting to increase again. You're starting to see office occupancy increase on a month over month basis. We're seeing, people call their employees back. And just recently we saw this article where RBC basically said, hey, you got to come back to the office 3 to 4 days a week. So the question then becomes, is downtown going to start becoming more vibrant? I can already feel it as somebody who heads in and out of downtown all the time. Look, on a Wednesday or a Thursday, the days that most people make it into the office now, there's way more traffic than on a Monday or on a Friday because people are taking those long weekends, right? And so not long weekends. I know you're working when you're at home, but you know what I mean. To me, I get excited when I see Humber Bay is outperforming because I'm heavily invested in that area. But with that being said, the rational side of me looks at those numbers and says, this doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for you not to get a discount for living in Humber Bay versus the downtown core. I would love to know what you guys think. That's it for this video, and I'll see you guys next week.